You must learn the ways of the Force if you're to come with me to Alderaan. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails, folks. Earlier today, I posted my 22 GAC teams that I'm going to be using for my alt account. This is my Prevail Man account, which is a smaller account. Apparently, I'm right at 3 million GP, something like that. We can check that in just a moment. But I am firmly locked into Bronzium League. Here, let me show you right quick. Whoa, you guys can see the quote that I was looking up to make sure I had it right. But anyways, so scrolling up just a little bit and even further, make sure you guys can see this. Yeah, so I'm right at 3 million GP on this account, and so therefore I'm going to be in Bronzium in that pink area. And it's actually kind of funny because I'll be making a lot more crystals even in Bronzium. We'll see if we can keep punching our way into Chromium or something like that. But this account is going to be very interesting to see what we end up doing with it, because we have no Galactic Legends. I've made top 10 a couple times on this account as well. My alt account has way better success overall, just because people have better starting strategies these days, and sometimes I just can't beat like Darth Revan teams and stuff, which is something I am working on right now, is getting my own Darth Revan and stuff. But that being said, I'll probably be making videos for this account as well. We need to have 10 teams though. Oh, here, let's scroll down just a little bit here. So we're in Bronzium. That means we have 5 squads on offense, 5 squads on defense, and then once we move our way up to Chromium, which I was prepping to do anyways, once we get up to Chromium, we'll have to do 7 and 2 fleets. But the 2 fleets I think won't be a problem because I have Malevolence now. We should be good to go. Let's go look at the teams though. I only have 10 teams I need to do for Bronzium, which is good. I don't have 14 teams. I have 10. And then like if I fail some, then maybe I can recover a little bit of that somehow. I'm not sure. But let's go to the game and we can check out my stuff and things. Whoa, madness. We're at Prevail Man? What are you doing here? So, we are at 2 million. Oh, guys, before I forget, do want to remind you, please, if you want to support the channel for free, please just hit that like button or leave a comment in the comments area. Both of those things really help us mount the algorithm to be able to continue to bring good, solid, quality content to you daily. And this channel's been growing a lot. You guys have been amazing, and I really appreciate all of the support. And please help us continue to mount the algorithm. It's fun. You get to learn a lot about things like mounting and mountains. I'm lying. You don't get to learn anything about mountains. So, yeah, I don't know why you'd actually listen, but the other thing I do want to point out too, guys, a lot of you have probably already watched my alt account, but I am going to be putting a lot of squad compositions for this account as well on my Patreon on the Discord server. So if you guys want to join my Patreon, it is in the video description. I kind of loathe talking about trying to promote some of this stuff, but I need to start doing it more, honestly. I need to be a little bolder about it. So come join us on Patreon, guys. It's a good time. And for a limited time, you'll have access to the Arena bot as well, which will tell you if you've dropped or not in Squad Arena. That's obviously, Squad Arena is going to disappear here pretty dang soon. But for now, you can actually join it. So go check that out. On to the squads though. Okay, so the first squad that I chose here, and none of these are for defense or offense specifically. I do tend to go pretty heavy on offense on this account, but in 5v5, this Commander Luke team, you can see everyone has Relic 0 because that's how it is. Everyone on this entire account except for Grievous and Nest will have Relic 0 if they're Gear 13, because I was trying to minimize our matchup GP so that we don't get any Galactic Legends, which is a valid strategy, was a valid strategy before, now less valid, because they don't really care about Galactic Legends. Like the GP stuff doesn't matter nearly as much. So we're kind of exposed, but we'll start fleshing it out with relics here pretty soon, as soon as we start getting any income whatsoever on crystals. So, Commander Luke team can counter almost everything on offense, even at relic 0. The awesome thing about it is they don't do a lot of individual damage, but there's a lot of percent health damage going on here, and all the turn meter manipulation and banner recovery means this team gets high banners on offense, which is an important aspect of winning. You want to be efficient, and at this level, a lot of players are not going to be as efficient as me. If you guys want to watch me be efficient, I'll try to link my last 5v5 season in the video description. You can see how I'm using this team to be able to be efficient. A lot of times I will actually just chop off Chupio and 3PO, and they can go with other teams or something. But if they need to take something down that's really strong, all of them are good. 3PO provides all the exposes, and then as long as they're hitting the exposes, that does 20% max health damage to whoever it's hitting. And Chewie, whenever he does his attack, his AoE, his basic, it always does, I believe, 20 or 25% max health damage, as well as whatever physical damage he does. And it also happens to heal the 2 people who have guard on them. It heals their health and protection every time he does damage. So every time he does damage, I think it says something like 2%, something like that. It heals, they recover 3% health and protection every time he does damage. However, he is doing damage a whole lot more than you would think, because he's assisting for Luke and for Han. And he's also, whenever he does his AoE, that hits all 5 characters, and it does 2 different types of damage. And I don't know if if they're already exposed, if that counts as a 3rd type for him. My guess is not, but one way or another, it's going to be a pretty massive heal if he does an AoE and it hits everyone. It's 15% health, and but times 2, so it's the 30% health and protection on both Luke and Han. Pretty nice. And then Chupio obviously has his protection recovery thing. You guys can look at the Faction Essentials video that I've made for this squad. You want a lot of tenacity all over the place so that you can resist a lot of the different debuffs that threaten this squad. And otherwise, the squad's just pretty strong and cool. One of my very favorite squads ever, and Han going first and being able to have the whole squad just build that turn meter train is just really fun. A lot of times 60 banners with this squad, or even 63 or 62, I mean, if you just take the trio against a smaller, weaker squad. Now, General Grievous, this squad, you can start off with I like to have them all kind of tiered in a way, because on offense, a lot of times this squad, all you really needed was General Grievous to be, Relic 3, something like that. And then as long as you made it so that your characters died, and then he would get a bonus turn and do his AoE blender, and then another character died, then he gets his bonus turn, AoE blender, etc. He just keeps going, and you get terrible banners on offense, but he just, no one can withstand that 6 blenders in a row. The key is, of course, to make it so that they can't just do one AoE and kill everyone in one hit. So I did just start boosting Newt a little bit. He'll probably get his Zeta at some point before GAC season starts, because he causes this squad to do a lot more damage based off of debuffs and everything, but only when he has his Zeta, which isn't a leadership. One of the best characters in the game anyways is Newt, one of the most unsung heroes, mostly because he doesn't have a nose. But then again, he's in a good place, because do any of these characters actually have one? That's the question. And if they do, why? General Grievous is a great team for offense or defense, frankly, guys. I do like him for offense just because he adds more versatility. He's probably going to be on defense for me a decent amount of time this season, depending on what my opponent has available. Next is going to be Bossk here, and Bossk and company are just really cool. I want to get them to gear 13 eventually. Bossk needs a couple relic levels, especially because the ship is really good, but now that I don't have to worry about pinching matchup GP, but this squad is really strong. Obviously, I don't have Mando here yet. He's just, at this GP level, you just have to pick and choose what you want to do. And frankly, I need to start picking a Galactic Legend for this squad at 3 million GP. Now, 3 million is a pretty late point to get your first Galactic Legend. I need to revise my starting strategy guides and everything. So, that being said, this squad is great. You can You have two guys that can ignore taunt entirely. You could have two guys that can call a mass assist. Grief can dispel things. Dengar can heal everyone with his grenade under Bossk lead. And this team punches way above its weight. What I really like to do, its very favorite target, is like a Bastila Jedi team. At least as long as there's not too many relic levels on it. But if you can, this team can just do so much damage because Boba Fett and his execute delete characters with like 12 buffs on them. So like a Bastila squad with Grandmaster Yoda, really, really tempting target. It doesn't really translate that well to a Jedi Revan team, because Jedi Revan teams have strengths that this squad can't really keep up with. But especially even at this gear level, this team works. It does pretty good work. Next up is Padme. I don't have Cat for it yet, but because we have R2-D2, and R2-D2 has the Zeta that lets the stat sharing happen, we need to get R2-D2 up to relics, of course, too. And this whole squad really should get boosted with relics because they all really like having extra health under Padme lead. But this team is great for defense if your opponent isn't going to be... like a lot of times at this GP, they don't have... like the best team that they will have available is something like a Vader team, which, I mean, I guess this isn't that Vader-proofed, to be honest. If you want it to be Vader-proofed, you want to put 3PO with them, in which case it makes your Rebel team a little worse, but otherwise, this team is really good on defense unless Vader and Palpatine can run the table on you, or it's also great on offense. You can take out General Grievous teams. The only problem, of course, is on offense, it is not going to get you any banners back. Like, there's no banner recovery or protection recovery, so you get 55. If you're okay with that, then that works. You do need something decent on defense. A lot of times it's going to be Padme. You guys have heard me talk about Rey and Prey on my big account, which is like you set Rey team and then the rest of your teams are garbage, and you pray that your opponent fails. I don't think that that's a winning strategy in like in my GP on my main account, but in this case we can do a Padme and Prey team, and it actually yields decent results depending on what your opponent is placing on their defense and what they have available. This squad is great on offense as well, just not efficient. Next is Nest, and Nest wants a lot of tenacity. She can solo a lot of teams, especially at this GP level. Sometimes you want to throw your really awful Kira on the team with her. I didn't bother to throw her on there, but Kira does provide some good leadership bonuses, gives a damage boost, gives a protection recovery boost for Nest, which she's not going to necessarily get, have enough protection banners or protection recovery to be able to win, in terms of like she won't be able to get that extra protection banner if she should solo something, but a 63 on her is pretty good, and there's a lot of teams that are going to be available here for her to take out on her own. Now, this team is one that we could maybe fragment if we needed to. Darth Vader obviously needs more relic levels. Everyone does. So cut me a break here, please. But Darth Vader, under Palpatine lead, actually, it's really nice to have Basti because of all of those debuffs. The turn meter train goes crazy, so you have to mix and match and choose which is going to be better. Palpatine lead with all those debuffs, really, really nice. And this is definitely an offense team. You can also just choose not to put Traya on it, choose not to put Basti on it. We need to get Thrawn to relics at some point as well, so that we have a more versatile squad. But once again, this squad would be really good with someone like, I'm guessing Mara Jade is going to make this squad really good. We could probably get Darth Talon on here that makes it better. Even at gear 8 and 3 stars, Darth Talon's probably pretty good as well. We can probably hook that up. Now, I do have a Relic Jedi Revan here with pretty soon to be Relic Grandmaster Yoda. Now, the rest of them probably do need relics as well, but this is a good Jedi team. Sometimes you want Basti lead, but remember, she doesn't have her Zeta, and if you haven't put her Zeta on, you need it later down, I guess, down the line in the game. And it's a decent starting, but I've never really needed it. Like, she's really good because it makes it so that if she's leading a team, she can make it so that you get a perfect 60 banners without having to worry about banner recovery, just because you have so much of a buffer with bonus protection. Just keep in mind too, though, if you're using really low gear characters like Basti or Jolie, that bonus protection is not going to be that great because it's all based off of their health stat. Even if it's not explicit about that, you can see At the start of the turn, they gain protection up by 200%, and that's great, but that 200% is based off of 200% of her health. So in this case, she's going to gain bonus protection in the form of 40,000 health, which isn't terrible, but it's something to keep in mind. It's not nearly as much as, well, as what I'm guessing Jedi Revan's going to have. Yeah, so Jedi Revan has 38k health, so his bonus protection stacks are going to be 80k bonus protection. So just keep that in mind as you move along in life. Next up are Ewoks. I talked about it in my other video as well. Ewoks are wonderful just because people underestimate how fast Pep Blue can be. People don't know how to mod Pep Blue. I can't stress this enough. Gear 11 on this team is really good, especially at this level. Put speed mods on him, and he looks like a pretty innocent 219. I do need to get this a little faster, I think, but the idea is, because of this unique, he's gaining 25% speed whenever he doesn't have taunt active. He doesn't start with a pre-taunt, therefore he's going to get 25% extra speed. In this case, that's going to be about 55 extra speed, so he's going to outspeed a lot of teams that are attacking him, and if the Ewoks get the bit in their mouth, people can't beat it. Like, people, this team commonly gets me holds because people don't know how to beat it, and then the Ewoks are turn meter loaded and they just keep going. You just jump in and it's just like the Battle of Endor. They just keep going and screaming, and it's death and murder and chaos and madness, and they don't full clear because Ewoks are much better than people expect. Now, the Geos here, I'm trying to boost them up a little bit. They need to get more love as well. This team is really good on defense, though, even at this level, because if people don't have a team saved for them, they just won't clear the Geo squad. And if people if they just see a Geo squad and an Ewok squad in the back, then a lot of times they'll put their good squad to kill the Geos, and then their bad squad they just assume can beat a bunch of hairballs, and that's false. Well, sometimes it's true if we're being fair, but the Geo squad is not bad. It's pretty good, even at low gear levels. Higher gear levels are obviously better. This Phoenix team is a lot better than people think as well, just because the Sabine Zeta, it's going to be on defense for me most of the time, but it can also do some decent work on offense because you have good banner recovery on this team in the form of, I believe, Chopper and Zeb and Kanan all giving various ways to heal your health and protection. So this team, even at gear 8 for the most part, gear 11 on Sabine, can surprise some people. Sabine's grenade from her Zeta is not to be underestimated, folks. And finally, we have Night Sisters. They are gear 8 for the most part. I guess gear 9, it looks like. My good friend Sim, who helps me with this account, has probably been working on that, and it's much appreciated. Gear 10 on Zombie minimum, folks. You need gear 10 on Zombie. That should be your very first thing you do on any Night Sisters team. And then the lead Zeta on Mother Talzin is really important. The unique is also actually very important. It looks like it sucks, but it's much better than you might think. I do have a Night Sisters Faction Essentials video you guys can take a look at if you want. You can search for that. And otherwise, this whole team is really good on offense and defense. They're not that great at lower levels like this because someone can come in and do an AoE and kill multiples of them. And unless Daka has her Zeta on, which it's not really worth it at gear 8 level, then the whole team just kind of dies. On offense, if you pick a team that does mostly basic single attacks, you can actually pick apart a lot stronger teams. I remember on my alt account using a team that was about this strong to take out a full gear 12 first order team just because they were able to survive and keep reviving and keep reviving and keep reviving, and it's a pretty good squad. It's a good squad on offense. The problem being, of course, that you don't get good banner recovery from it, so a lot of times you're going to end up not you'll get a 55 essentially. That's basically what you get. You get a 65 or a 55 and you move on, but You know, and in some circumstances, that's fine. These guys, and at this level, I wouldn't say that it's true, but just a few more Relic levels, a couple more Zetas, and this squad can definitely beat most Geonosian teams out there as well, which is something I'm trying to boost them up for, because Geos are a huge part of the early game. People say that Night Sisters are a terrible squad and these days, and I think that's false, especially when you're allowed to use them at this GP level. So I'm going to let you guys go. Please let me know what you think in the video description. What are the comments? You guys can't access the video description. Let me know what you think, though. What teams are you going to use at this level? What is going to work? And who will get to Chromium first? And who feels really sad that we can't make Kyber unless we have a high GP? I'm curious. And which Galactic Legend should I get first on this account? I'm going to make a video about that, but I'm curious what you guys think. What Galactic Legend would be best for this roster? Let me know in the comments, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.